In just 4 days, I'm going to head down to Missouri and hit the Ozark Trail. I have a brand new backpack. I've got some new shoes. What other new gear am I bringing along? Stay tuned and find out. Before I get into talking about my new pack and my new shoes, I want to show you what I am going to be wearing when I start this hike. I'm expecting temperatures on this trip to go from about the mid-50s down to below 30 degrees Fahrenheit. When I arrive, it's going to be about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's probably going to be about 50 degrees, not expecting any rain that first day. So when I arrive, on my head, I'm going to have a merino wool buff, and I'm going to be shuttled, so this can be used as a face mask if the shuttle driver would like me to wear a mask. Below that, I'm going to be wearing a merino wool t-shirt. Over the top of it, I have a smart wool quarter zip. Even though this is smart wool, it's not merino wool. It's more of a traditional wool. And if you watched my trip in December where I went down to Arkansas on the Ozark Highland Trail, it rained and it was cold and wet, and I had wished that I had a wool mid-layer. That wool will keep you warm even when you're wet. If you want to see that trip, I'll put a link up in the cards up here. So I switched over from my normal polyester hoodie that I wear as my mid-layer to this wool mid-layer because there is a chance that it could be similar weather to that cold, wet weather that I had when I was in Arkansas. And I think this will prepare me a little bit better for that. Moving down, I'm opting this trip to not wear my typical running shorts and not wear hiking pants. I'm wearing kind of a hybrid. I'm going to have my smart wool underwear. I'm going to start off with some light polyester long underwear underneath it. Some running shorts over the top that don't have the built-in underwear, and I want to do that so I can easily take off these long underwear without totally taking everything off. So if we're moving down, on my feet I'm going to have my normal sock liners to prevent blisters. It could be, my feet could be wet the whole time. And I have some darn tough socks. As I mentioned in the intro, I'm switching it up. I have some Brooks running shoes that I wear that I absolutely love. So I'm switching over to the Brooks Cascadia 15, and these are trail runners. So I've been wearing them out and about, and I just love them so far. We'll see how they do. Now, a lot of people in the Ozark Trail or on the Ozark Highland Trail say to bring some water shoes, and I found that it takes too long to take the water shoes, put the water shoes on, take them off, take them on, on the other side, and that just takes too long. So I'm going to be leaving my trail runners on and getting wet feet as I do the crossings. And I found that in trail runners that are not waterproof and some wool socks, they dry out pretty much, so you can't feel it while you're walking when you take your shoes off at night. Obviously, they're still a little moist, and I'll be storing those wet socks at night in the pocket of my puffy to keep them warm so they aren't frozen in the morning. And of course, I will have my hiking poles here that are the same hiking poles I've been carrying for 2 years. This is my new pack. It is a 40-liter pack from Lite AF. It has a full suspension on it with the hip pouch, and like I said, it's 40 liters, so it's about 9 liters smaller than my Z-Packs Arc Haul that I've had for 2 years. I found that that pack was just too big, and I wanted to get something smaller. So let me show you what's on the outside of my pack. We'll start at the front. It came with 2 pockets on the shoulder straps that can be used for water bottles, but what I'm opting to do is to only carry 1 water bottle up there. I'm going to be carrying 700 milliliter smart water bottles, 1 there, and I'm going to have one in the side pocket over here. In the other front pocket on the shoulder strap, I'm just going to carry some snacks. These are just some gummy snacks, Swedish fish, and easy access to get that when I'm feeling for it. So on the side here, like I mentioned, this is really big side pouches on this pack. It has a drawstring on the top so you can cinch it down, and it actually has a hole for draining on the bottom. So on this side, I'm going to have that second water bottle, and also on the side here is a custom bag that I made last year. And inside here, I sleep in a hammock. Inside here, I have the spreader bars for my Ridge Runner hammock, and I actually upgraded to carbon fiber spreader bars, so I bought those aftermarket, and it lightens up my pack about a half a pound. I have my stakes on here, and I have some guy lines for my doors, and also in this big pouch are the spreader bars that I use to pull out my tarp and give me more area in my tarp. Normally on my shoulder strap, I will have my GPS, my Garmin InReach Mini. Right now I have that in with the rest of my electronics, but it'll be strapped right on my shoulder just in case something, an emergency happens, I can hit that SOS button. On the opposite side, something that's new for me, if you watched that, my trip where I went in December down to the Ozark Highland Trail, it was cold and rainy the whole time, and because of another person in our party, we kind of agreed to end that trip early, just because it was freezing, it was below zero and rain, and it was pretty miserable. But a problem that I had on that trip is I had my raincoat, and it wetted out right away. And the other two people I was hiking with had umbrellas. So I purchased from Six Moon Designs an ultralight umbrella that can be put right on your shoulder strap, sits on your head, don't have to hold it. But they had umbrellas and they didn't wet out right away like I did. Now the weather when we're down there, like I mentioned, is going to be from the mid 50s down to below 30 degrees, maybe the upper 20s. And there is a lot of rain in the forecast. So I'm going to be prepared with that. And my clothing, I'm changing a few things beyond just that wool mid layer. Okay. Also in that side pocket, since it's so big, I have my cook kit. This is a 550 titanium Toaks pot. Inside here I have a Fancy Feast cat food can, alcohol stove, matches, measuring cup, all sorts of things in there. And I have about 8 ounces of alcohol for that stove. Moving to the front, which they call the front of the backpack, but it's really farthest away from you, so I think it's the back, but we'll go with front. I don't go backpacking without Doritos. You can go backpacking with Doritos. You pack it right on the outside like this. After the first day, first time you open it up, you put it into a big Ziploc bag. So, sweet chili Doritos. Sometimes when I can't eat anything else on the trail, my stomach's upset. Okay, on the bottom, so on this pack, it has a V-strap here. And a lot of people call this the Shill Brothers strap, SBO, Shill Brothers Outdoors. It's just a V of line that you can tighten up. And I have some Crocs here. I will just wear those Crocs at camp when my shoes are wet. I have some waterproof socks. I put those on. Works out well. I am not bringing a chair. I have a Z-seat for sitting on. Underneath the V-strap on this pack, there's a pocket. And on this pocket, I am going to have my tripod. Now my tripod is on my camera right now, so it's not in here. But the nice part about this pocket is, unlike the water bottle carriers, I'm not very flexible and I can't reach things there. So I can put my tripod in this back pocket and I can reach down below and pull it out when I'm shooting my videos. So that works out real nice. And on one side, it's got just a little hole on purpose, and that works good if you have a little bit of garbage. You can stuff it in there as well. I was hoping that I could put my Crocs down in here, but the pocket isn't quite big enough. So like the Arc Haul, it has a ginormous pocket on the outside here, on the front, as they say. And this is actually from a Lycra material. I think it's Lycra. And I like that material a little bit better than the mesh that you have on the outside of the Arc Haul. So inside this big pocket, I have my rainfly for my hammock. This is from War Bonnet. It's the Mountain Fly. I've had it for a couple years, works really great, but I keep that on the outside because it's most likely going to be wet, and I want to keep wet things out of the inside of my pack. In here I also have a set of maps. So I printed out from the Ozark Trail Association. They have maps that you can print there, and it actually, for the 64 or 5 miles I'm going, I had to print out 6 maps. I waterproofed them back to back, made all sorts of marks on there of where the water is, mile markers, all sorts of notes. On my phone, I'm also going to be using Gaia as my main navigation, and I created a tract in Gaia, and I put points on there for mileage markers, where water is, that sort of thing, because these are going to be in the back of my pack, and most of the time I'm going to be grabbing that phone and looking at, which way to go. But these are good reference points. If for something happens to my phone and I can't use that map, I have the hard copies, as well as when I'm in my hammock at night, sometimes I'd like to look at these hard copies as well. I have some Tyvek that I will use for my little ground sheet underneath my hammock that I put my shoes and my pack on. I have some REI rain pants. These worked really good when I was on that Ozark Highland Trail freezing trip. I'm opting to bring these instead of my rain skirt because there is some rain in the forecast, and it is going to be rather cold. Cold for Missouri standards anyway. Okay, this is my Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jacket. Like I said, it didn't really work very well when I was on Ozark Highland Trail, but I haven't replaced it yet, and I have that umbrella, so I'm a little bit better prepared for the rain. And I just have a little washcloth here for wiping things down. And finally, in the bottom, I have my Sawyer Squeeze water filter and my CNOC 2-liter water bag for filtering my water. All right, let's hop to the inside here. Right on the top, I have my food bag. So this is a really big food bag that I typically don't use, but I am using it on this trip just because I'm going to be out there for 4.5 days, and you can see that it's only half full now, but that first night I may have to put a full bag of Doritos in here, so it works well. So this is a custom printed bag from Hilltop Packs, really nice. So this is what is inside for my food. Before we talk about food, I also wanted to mention that on the outside, you didn't see that I have hip belt pouches. That is because I am actually switching over, and I am going to be carrying a fanny pack from Lite AF. Now I did order the hip belt pouches, and that's the route that I was going to go. But the pouches weren't big enough for me to put my iPhone 12 Max in those hip belt pouches. So I have a brand new iPhone Pro 12 Max, and it's bigger, and It just won't fit in those pouches. I'm going to be shooting all my video on the iPhone in 4K. I'm not going to be bringing that camera with the flip top on it on this trip. So with the fanny pack, it will have a separate belt on it. And I've tried this and it works perfectly because the hip belt from the backpack rides a little bit higher and the fanny pack will ride comfortably down below it. And I didn't want to get a fanny pack right away because I was worried about it riding too low and flopping back and forth and hitting me in that fupa area. But it doesn't flap. It's perfect and I love it. So I will be keeping my phone, like I mentioned, in here, easily accessible so I can pull it out for shooting video. Also in here, I have some trail mix for snacks along the trail. And I have a new external microphone that I hook up to my phone to give you better sound for the videos. So I have that in a little baggie here to help keep it dry. Now this fanny pack is waterproof, but just to double up to keep that when it's moist out, you really want another thing because you're going to be opening this pouch and it'll probably get a little damp in there. I have some Midwest Backpacker stickers. If I see anybody along the trail that's interested in my channel, I'll give you a free sticker. And the front of this has a mesh pouch on it. And the mesh pouch, honestly, it's not very deep, so you're kind of limited what you can put in there. I have some reading glasses that I have to wear sometimes if I'm looking at a map, so I'm going to keep those in there. So that is what is in the fanny pack. All right, in my food. This is everything that I'm going to be carrying for food. I mentioned earlier the Doritos, and you saw one of the bags of trail mix that I'll be carrying on the front. I have a second bag of trail mix for the second part of the trip. I keep in my food bag my toothpaste and dental floss because I need to hang that at night for bears. Speaking of hanging, I have my bear line here as well as a bag for putting the rock in to throw it over the branch. And I have this little thing so I don't have to tie a knot when I'm hanging my bear bag. I hang my bear bag PCT style. If you're unaware of what that is, there's plenty of videos on YouTube to show you. And I think that's the best way to hang it. I have my long handled Spork. I have this little knife. All I really use my knife for is opening food packages. For breakfasts on this trip, I have these Green Belly meals to go. So these are like 700 calories each. And what I do is I eat half of these for each breakfast. So I have some sliced caramel apple and some, what is this, dark chocolate banana flavored ones. So I have 4 breakfasts there. For lunches, the first 3 days I am having beef sticks and Doritos. If you buy beef sticks, some people may laugh at this, they know what's coming. Don't open the package that says refrigerate after opening. So you can see I've gotten smarter and learned the hard way, and this is still in the original package, and I have a little Ziploc bag that after I open it, I'll get rid of that first package. But a couple years ago on Ozark Trail, I opened my package a week early and they were all moldy. Don't do that. Okay, for dinner each night, I have Mountain House Chili Max and lasagnas. I buy the big cans and I split it up. These are actually 2.5 servings, which are slightly larger than the 2 serving ones that you buy. And I like these just because it's a little bit cheaper when you buy the can. I vacuum seal them and put them in a freezer bag, and you pour the water in just like a Mountain House and rehydrate in the freezer bag. And these are a little bit smaller packages than the ones that come from Mountain House. Now, if you're going to criticize that you think that you shouldn't put boiling water into a freezer bag, let me tell you that the bag will hold the water. And if you're worried about melting plastic, you probably shouldn't be eating Mountain House in the first place. So there. With that, I have these split packets. This has peanut butter and grape jelly in it. I don't put them on a tortilla or any sort of bread. I just rip it open and squirt it in my mouth. Nice little treat. And then every night before I go to bed, I have chocolate. I have a chocolate addiction, so I have a Snickers for each night. So I have 3 lunches. I'm not sure if I'm going to need a lunch on that 4th day, but I have some beef ramen noodles here for that 4th day. I have an extra Snickers. I have 3 hot chocolate packets, and I have like 5 of these oatmeal pie cookie things left over from a different trip. So that's everything that I'm carrying. I have extra Ziploc bags that I'll use for garbage bags, putting the Doritos in. I bring an extra freezer bag in case one of these has a hole while I'm trying to rehydrate. So that's all my food. What I didn't mention that isn't in my food bag yet is the first dinner on the first night. I plan to get a sub from Subway, carry that in and eat that sub along with some chocolate chip cookies for dinner. This is my normal food bag. It's a little bit smaller than the Hilltop Packs one. It's also Dyneema. And in here I have my spare clothes for the trip. And here is what is inside for my clothes. So here's everything that is in my Dyneema food bag that I'm using for my clothing bag. It is a down pillow with an inflatable part to it that was made by my friend Miyagi and his company called Trailcraft. It feels really good when you're laying in the hammock, both to keep your head warm and to lift it up a little bit. I have a light pair of gloves here, and something that I didn't have in Arkansas on that cold wet trip is I now have some glove covers. They're mitten covers, they're waterproof, so if it's raining I can put these on over my gloves and my gloves won't get wet. When I was on that trip, I didn't wear my gloves when it was cold and rainy because I didn't want them to get wet, so I had them dry for sleeping at night. This way I can wear them in the rain and keep them dry. I have an extra pair of socks, and these are actually waterproof socks. They're made by seal skins. If you've never checked it out, they work really good if it's cold out and your feet are wet. They aren't so good if it's going to be warmer, your feet will sweat in them, but I think it's going to be cold enough where they will be an option. I won't be surprised if I don't wear these, but I have them along just in case. And these are my sleeping socks, Polar Extreme. I bought these when I was on our recent trip where it got down to negative 27 degrees, negative 47 with the wind chill up in the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota. I'll put a card to that video right up here. I'm only going to be sleeping in these. They'll keep my feet warm at night while I'm in my hammock. I have a light merino wool beanie from minus 33. In this weather, it'll probably be really nice to wear that. It's not too hot, but it'll keep my head warm. I have a backup merino wool smart t-shirt here. Sometimes it's nice to have a dry t-shirt to switch into at night if you're soaked. Now these t-shirts, they dry out super quick, but if it's really damp outside and cold, sometimes you don't dry out, and it's nice to have that warm shirt. I have an extra pair of underwear. These are stretchy, kind of tight ones, just in case I want to switch things up. And these are some running tights. These are a lot thicker and warmer than that lightweight underwear, long underwear that I'm going to be wearing when I come in. But just in case, I have some warmer ones. And these will also serve kind of as pajamas that I'll wear to keep me warm while I'm sleeping, nice and dry. So what is the clothing item that some people may think that I'm missing? I do not have a pair of pants on this trip. It's going to be cold, but I don't have pants. And what I'm doing is I don't have my normal pants, but I have rain pants. When I was on that Ozark Highlands Trail freezing cold trip, I didn't need my regular pants. If I wear these underneath rain pants or that long underwear under rain pants, it's better than normal pants. And if it's warmer, I won't need pants. I can wear shorts. I'm from Minnesota. I'm a little bit hardy. If it's above 40 and the sun's out, I'm going to have shorts on. So that is everything that I'm carrying in my clothing bag. Other things inside my pack. This is my hammock. Anytime there are trees, I sleep in my hammock. I also have a tent, but I find the hammock a lot more comfortable. It does add a little bit of weight, but it's well worth it because anything they can do for sleep is worth it. So this is a Ridge Runner bridge hammock, which means it has poles on the head end and the foot end to spread things out. I've had this for a couple years. Love it. This is my electronics bag. This is also a custom printed Dyneema bag from Hilltop Packs with my logo on there. Ben at Hilltop Packs does great work. Check them out if you haven't before. They also make really nice backpacks, but I'm the type of guy where I need to see a backpack before I buy it. And I did see this actually, Chad from UGQ had this pack when I was in Wisconsin about a year ago, and kind of got to look at it a little bit, and I decided that was the pack I wanted to get next. So in my electronics bag here, as I mentioned, here's my Garmin InReach Mini that'll actually be on the outside of my pack. I have a large Anker power bank here for charging up my phone, my Garmin. It'll also charge my Nitecore NU25 rechargeable headlamp, nice headlamp. And then I have some medicine that I take at night that includes some things that help me sleep. Also in there, friends, if you learn one thing from this video, is bring earplugs when you go backpacking. Whether it be from that guy that's snoring next to you or a beaver slapping the pond all night, or who knows, put the earplugs in. A bear isn't going to get you. And if a bear is going to get you, you think earplugs are really going to stop them? Anyway. All right, so I am bringing some cordless earbuds. On this trip, I'm going to be solo. When I go solo, sometimes I get bored when I'm walking through the woods. So I'm going to listen to some podcasts. Podcast this time, backpacking podcast, Backcountry BSing, Joe Rogan, Backpacker Radio. So I got a bunch of them downloaded. And I also have some corded headphones. These I like to wear at night. Now, I'm probably not going to build a campfire and I'm alone. So I'm going to be putting in some long days, probably 15 miles plus a day. And I'm just going to spend a lot of time relaxing and recovering in my hammock. And I'm going to be watching Netflix on my phone. If you don't like technology when you're backpacking, that's your prerogative. But I like to watch Netflix at night when I'm alone in my backpack, listen to podcasts while I'm walking. So here's a cord for charging my phone and the corded earbuds, and a cord for charging the Garmin and the headlamp. Okay, let's keep rolling. One big bag in here. And before I get to this big one, this is kind of everything else that I need while I'm backpacking. I don't have a fancy bag. It's just a Ziploc bag in here. We've got some Body Glide for chafing, some chapstick, some cotton balls with Vaseline in case I want to build a fire. I have a fire starter, an extra lighter and extra matches. I also have matches and a lighter in my cook kit, but just in case, I have a second set. I have some toe warmers and hand warmers that I can put on if my feet do get really cold at night. I can put those in. I will have those really thick socks that I'll be keeping dry, but just in case. I have an Ultrapod here that I will be carrying as a secondary backup to my regular tripod. Now I'm switching over from carrying a regular camera with a flip screen and all those batteries. 100% of my video is going to be shot on my new iPhone 12 Max. So it's going to be in 4K. It should be really nice, but it doesn't have a flip screen. So it's really hard to set it up on this little tripod, especially if you're going to be on the ground. But it's a good backup, and if I want to mount something up in a tree, it's good to have. I have 4 dude wipes for wiping the dude after he poops. I have some tape. I can't remember what it's called. I'll put it right here. But it's awesome to put on your feet when you get blisters. I took it off the big roll, just wrapped it around a pencil, so it's small. I have various things like some Pepto-Bismol tablets and some allergy pills, Benadryl type thing. Extra cap for my water bottle in case I drop it in the creek. And I have some tenacious tape that is used for gear repair. Moving right along. This is where I keep all of my down. Other than that pillow that you saw earlier that's in my clothes bag, just because it wouldn't all fit in here. But if you haven't noticed, I'm carrying a Dyneema backpack, which is supposed to be water resistant, waterproof. But everything that I want to keep dry, it's very important to keep that dry. So I kind of double up, and some people will use a pack liner. I still opt to have some stuff sacks. So this is a compression stuff sack, super light, waterproof from Sea to Summit. And as I mentioned before, I have my down in here. So in here, I have the Magma 850 hooded down jacket from REI. I've had this for about 1.5 years. I love that it has the hood on it. If it's raining, I'll just be wearing this when I sleep at night. But when I sleep at night, you know, the temperatures are going to get down to freezing and colder. And it's nice to have that hood on while I'm sleeping. Ooh, it smells like campfire still. Okay, this is my underquilt. This is a 900 fill underquilt specifically made for a bridge hammock from Local Libre. Had it for over 1 year. Keeps me warm. Like I said, it's rated for 20 degrees. I'm a cold sleeper. Temperatures are going to get to the upper 20s. It should be fine. And my top quilt is the Burrow from Hammock Gear. It is also a 20-degree quilt. So 20-degree quilt on top, 20-degree underquilt. I should be nice and warm and cozy in my hammock with those nice warm socks and the layers of clothes that I'll have on. So that is everything that I have packed for this trip. Hopefully I'm well prepared. A little nervous about the cold and the rain, mainly while I'm walking in my hammock. I'm confident I'll stay warm. So this should be a fun trip. It's been raining a lot down there, so I'm hoping I have to do some wet crossing of some creeks, and I know one is flood prone and there's a flash flood watch down there now. Hopefully the creeks will go down before I get to them and everything will go fine. I'll be posting that video a week from today, and you can see how it went. See how all my gear went, see what I forgot. Maybe I have some stuff that I don't need, but that's the way it goes. Hey, if you like this video, I mostly do backpacking videos where I'm out backpacking a trail. A lot of people like to see what sort of gear you carry and what sort of gear you buy, so I do these type of videos now and then. I'll also do just different hiking videos and just various outdoor things. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, punch that bell notification. It'll tell you when I come out with that video on the Ozark Trail next week. And you can be one of the first people to see it. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Instagram. And yeah, thanks for watching. That's all I have to talk about today. We'll see you out on the trail.